Hey there people, Lenny Rudow here for FishTalk Magazine. And you know, if you're searching for that perfect fishing boat, it can be a tough call. Do you get the center console or do you get the dual console? Look, taking a gander at that Grady White Fisherman 257 versus this Grady White Freedom 275, which is the dual console model, gives you a really interesting look at two very different boats that are both great for fishing and great for families. But the dual console, as a general rule of thumb, does tilt a little more towards family fun on the water, whereas the center console will tilt more towards serious fishing. What are some of the pluses and minuses of each? Well, let's take a look. What's the number one advantage of a center console? Well, this Cobia 280cc makes it perfectly clear. You got wide open spaces for fishing. You got rod holders in the gunnels. You got a leaning post arrangement as opposed to a split seating arrangement. So you can add on your rocket launchers. Of course, you can also put them up top. And I would say this is critical. You get lots and lots of room for tackle stowage in a center console. Now, some dual consoles will build in some tackle stowage, but you're not usually going to see as much as you might on a center console. Of course, on top of that, you're also going to have a live well. Now, that's another feature that, generally speaking, on most dual consoles that are designed to split the difference between family and fishing, you'll see both. This is a Boston Whaler Vantage 240. Now, a lot of families are going to be interested in this boat purely because it's a Boston Whaler. That means you get the foam glass sandwich, and it's a completely unsinkable boat. But what I want to bring out about dual consoles on this particular model is the fact that you can enjoy a ton of protection by closing up the center window and the divider here. Now the entire family can sit in protected areas. So if it's raining, it's really rough out, whatever the case may be, you get a whole lot more protection for everybody than you would on a center console. Another item you'll want to consider is deck space. If you really like to maximize fishability, you want to maximize deck space. So on a boat like this Pair Custom 24, if I pull out this center insert, leave it at home in the garage, I can walk all the way to the bow, I can walk all the way aft. I don't have any aft seating cluttering up the deck. That really maximizes the fishability aspect of the boat. Aboard this Edgewater 262CX, we're going to see something that, of course, is of great importance to most family boaters, and that is a fully enclosed head compartment. Now, while the head is a critical feature for a lot of family anglers, you can still get it on virtually all the center consoles out there these days. This Maycraft 208 is a great example. Pretty small boat, but you still get a head compartment inside the console. The one thing to keep in mind is that on a dual console where the entire side of that boat is going to be dedicated to nothing but the head, it is usually a little easier to get in and out of. Another center console advantage you'll often see is apparent on the Sportsman 252 Open, and that's the fact that the helm and the leaning post layout is such that you get lots of room for electronics. We anglers love our electronics, and also it's a position that's comfortable to run the boat standing up. Now, what's the difference there? Is simply the fact that anglers quite often are going to go out when it might be a little bit rough, could be a little sporty, right? Whereas if you're going out with the family, you're more likely to probably just wait for a nicer day out. So standing while operating the boat for most people is a lot more comfortable when it's a little bit bumpy. Now, you'll find some dual consoles where you can comfortably stand and still run the boat. And for that matter, you'll find some center consoles where that's not true. And you can find both that have good layouts for electronics. But as a general rule of thumb, the center console is going to win on these points. Of course, we do want to point out, if your family enjoys boating in all kinds of weather conditions, let's say you want to go out when it's raining or maybe even when it's snowing, you certainly want to consider a boat like this North Coast 315 HT, which has a fully enclosed helm and offers complete weather protection. Let's talk about one more thing to consider, people, and that's performance. You look at a boat like this Camus 34 CT, you can go running around at speeds in the mid-60s. There are a few dual consoles that are made to do speeds like that, but not very many. As a general rule of thumb, the center consoles you see are going to be powered to run faster than many of the dual consoles. But of course, this is just one more factor. Which boat's going to be right for you? Well, heck, I can't say. But as you look at all the different boats in a boat show, take these factors into consideration and then make your best pick. And by the way, I strongly suggest you ignore the pricing on all the boats, all of them, because it really doesn't matter. Hey, you only go around once, right? Pick the boat you love. Don't miss another cool Fish Talk video. Click below to subscribe.